You're listening to the Accordion to Me podcast with Veronique Medrano. Hi, I'm Veronique, and on this week's episode, we get to chat with Isabel Reyes, aka LABellatini. Reyes is a multi-hyphenated artist from film, TV, and event production to joy cultivating through her work as a DJ. The California native is making her mark and spreading the wealth of support as we talk woman to woman about our worth in creating and living the artistic life. This podcast is sponsored by Cricket Wireless. I recently made the switch to Cricket, and they removed the extra hassle of staying connected and calling within the US and Mexico. And trust me, that is always an issue with every other service provider except for Cricket. Make the switch and join the Cricket comunidad with me, Veronique. And if you think that's too good to be true, then download the Try Cricket app from the App Store to start your free trial of nationwide 5G that covers 99% of folks in the US. It's just one reason why people who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
One trial per person, 5 people per home address. An unlocked GSM-compatible smartphone is required. Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. For 5G coverage, see cricketwireless.com/map for more details.
Thank you.
I like that. That sounds right. That checks out.
Facts are checked.
So far, all accurate.
All accurate. I love the fact that we spent today. Like, I spent the day with you, getting a massage, getting coffee.
A Bellatini day.
The Bellatini day. And it was just refreshing. I didn't realize, because I've been busting my butt, but I didn't realize how much I needed for somebody to just push on my pressure points and not in a way that would piss me off. So, in a way that's supposed to be healing.
Man, I'll tell you what. Since the massage, I'm like, man, I'm going to go home and I'm going to stretch the heck out of my legs and my hips because, like...
They went ham.
They went in and I was just like, what?
You did tell them before we sat down.
I did. I regretted it a little bit. I told them I want it hard.
You did, and all I see is this woman grabbing your foot and going... Dunk, dunk, dunk. Like it's a hammer. Dude, what was... I was, like, scared, but you were passed out. I was scared for the sounds. I would peek over... And, like, fine. I'm going to tell you right now, I look like an absolutely crazy... Like, if you had looked over... No. So the guy, like, goes like this, and then just lifts me.
Oh.
So I was like a sirena on a boat. Like that. I shit you not. It was insane. They
didn't do that one to me this time. The
They
lady,
did that to me.
This one does the... Well, this one was the one that did the hammer on my leg. Yeah,
she did a lot of hammering, and you were dead asleep. She did so much hammering.
I had a big weekend, so I
Hammer away.
I was like, please. I was like, go hard. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, I'm dying.
And so, you know, this is a day that, you know, you take to decompress because you do a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're a multi-hyphenated artist. So how did this all start? What was the first artistic thing that you threw yourself into?
You know what's so funny is, like, I think about this a lot more often now than ever before because I think, like, the first, I don't know, like, I guess I've been doing creative things most of my life. Like, that's just part of who I am. But I didn't really recognize the creative side to myself and my own. I really didn't tap into my real creativity or what I considered creativity until, honestly, since, like, right before the pandemic. Like...
Are you serious?
It was like the first time I really was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I remember there'd be times I would look at my hands and be like, I've got, like, all this power. Like, I could do things. What happened? Like, where did I come? I almost felt like I just plopped into my body and was like, okay, what have I been doing with this? Like I've been, like, gone. Like, my spirit's been gone and my spirit came back and it's like, all right, how do we go? Where do we go from here? Like, let's get focused. It's a real weird feeling to describe, but, you know,
I can relate to that feeling because during the pandemic, I felt like I was like an automaton. Like I was going from record to record to record. I would pick songs. I would go to the studio. I would record. There was like a rhythm to it, and I would feel alive when I was like tweaking and figuring it out. But as soon as it was done and I was out there performing, sometimes I would feel the move of the movement of it, and other times I didn't feel within myself. I didn't feel like I was there. Like I was just going through the motions, and it felt very like blank slate.
Yeah.
Look, that's it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the pandemic that like I couldn't do anything. I literally had to sit with myself. I had to figure out my life. I had to figure out, like, girl, are you going to be single forever, or are you going to stop picking shitty men? Like, make choices, girl. Like, you ain't getting any because the panini will not let you. And,
Yeah,
your
you're
panini needs to
blocking.
chill out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, your inner panini needs to chill, and the outer pandemic of the world is telling you to chill. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. And so, you're having this almost reinsertion into your psyche.
And it's kind of ironic that you're saying that, because I think the reason why I think I now kind of having some now hindsight being 2020, being able to like assess and like look, like I'm coming up on a birthday, right? So this last year, this is like I've been single for a whole year, but before then, so I was dating somebody for a minute and then I was married, right? It's funny. I find it ironic that was like your thing where you were like, oh, guys or whatever. Whereas in my case, I feel like in the last couple years, I've been able to accomplish so much and be a part of so many people's lives, and also meet so many cool people and create a community around me, or just like be a part of the community around me, because I was now using the energy that I was at one time using for like my husband or the guy I was dating or whatever. I was just putting all the energy into like myself and into my creating, into what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And girl, let me tell you, it is so much easier.
That's wonderful.
It's like the best. I feel like I'm in like 6 or 7 different relationships, but with like friends, like in different friend relationships, but not real relationships. But we provide for one another in the ways that like I could never have been, or have not been provided for in my relationships.
And I feel like that almost gives you context of what you will absolutely need, but will not settle for less than.
Oh, like I treat myself. You were with me on a Bellatini day. I treat myself well. I treat myself awesome. So
I was treated awesome.
Just being around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so I would expect anyone that's around me to, if not be about it like that, then be better, or just be gone.
Better or gone. There's no. You either meet the high standards or no scrubs. There are no scrubs allowed.
No scrubs. Well, and the thing is too, it's like, it's not even about like, oh, you must have like, no, like I do, this is how I take care of myself. This is what I do for myself. I'm by no stretch like a princess or a prima donna in which I'm like, oh, I can't do these things. Like I could do everything. I just choose not to do everything anymore. I just want to do things that are fun and that are good for me.
I was single for 4 years, and like some of it within the pandemic, some of it outside of that. I was really hard on myself because I immediately put these really antiquated ideas of dating into my mind, to the point that I thought that like dating for 3 months was the relationship. And I'm like, bro, that's not it. Like, unless they stick out for a year, like 6 months even, then they're kind of around. But even then, like I realized the fluidity of being around with people, like whether it was, sexual, non-sexual, just hanging out, like just platonic, whatever it was. And it's like understanding that those 4 years, and like I said, some of them included the pandemic, like going, okay, I realized how hard I was on myself because I was desperately, unfortunately, wanting friendship. Because I don't like hang out with people, even people that I find romantically interesting, unless I can like be chill with you. Like, can I talk to you about Futurama or Star Trek or things that I really like?
I think we all, well, I know that for sure in the last few years, for sure in the last couple of years, like I said, like I can only really be talking to, like I talk to so many people and I'm around so many people, I'm doing so many things, you know? And a lot of my friends and us, like we all are creating and we all have a purpose and we're all aligned and connected with our communities, right? So we do a lot of the things because we have to, you know, it's just how we're built. And I've discovered that about myself over the last few years specifically. What I think has made me pretty successful in dating, if I was to say that, you know, because I have been in relationships for most of my life, and it's my ability to just kind of like treat every situation like it's like I don't put any labels on things, you know what I mean? And I think it's like, so to think about like, oh, is this like a platonic friendship? Did we go out? Like I just had mezcal with a friend of mine, you know? It's like a friend. I don't know him like that great, but we've worked together for over a couple of years on a project, and we're finally just kind of hanging out, you know? But it's not like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think it was romantic, but the whole time, your own brain kind of brings you out of like, well, am I supposed to be treating this like and I have to constantly be like, this is like the homie, like just keep it together, like, you know? So whenever I start thinking about, am I supposed to be doing this out here, like for this person or that person, I like then know that's my signal that like, oh, I'm thinking about someone outside of myself. Well, then I got to reel it back in. Like I got to focus on myself. I can't be thinking about what the other person thinks or doesn't think. I'm not Nostradamus, you know what I mean?
It's a part of like engaging as a woman with the world around you outside of romance and just as a person that is ridiculously difficult. Like
and it is difficult, yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because I have a very skewed sense of like how I look at things, but like people give off certain energy or certain just like intention. Actually, that's the better word. People give off intentions. You like people think that they don't, but they most definitely do. Si te quieren coger, si nomás quieren hablar, like if they want to do other things, like you can tell how someone wants to walk in the world depending on how they engage with you and what they do. And like I said, it might just be just my overactive brain. But I feel like I can sense it.
Well, I'm sure you probably have like, you know, but a lot of that stuff is, you know, I don't know your personal experience like that, but I would imagine that a lot of that stuff is like, I don't think feelings are real like that. Like, you know, a lot of times it's like, ooh, I feel like this vibe or whatever. Like, sure, I feel like a bunch of vibes too, but I don't know that I trust myself with that either. You know what I mean? So I instead deal with what's real and what isn't real. Like, well, is that really what that person's saying, doing, or feeling, or intending, or whatever? Maybe, but I ultimately
make the decision.
Am the one in charge of myself. So I'm not a victim to any of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do people have intentions? They can have all the intentions that they want. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of am like, I still, at the end of the day, am who I am, and I'm not going to be like bullied into some position, you know what I mean? Like,
no, and I guess it's just like how I walk in the world. Like I understand a lot better now. Like I trust my gut a lot more now.
And you're also younger. Like I have 15 years on you or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I mean, that's a lot of time. So you're ahead of the game. As far as I'm concerned, I wish I had this kind of wisdom and knowledge like at your age. Oh my God, who knows what I'd be right now, you know? Who knows what I'd be doing? I wouldn't be talking to you, loser. Just kidding.
Damn, I got called a loser by someone who has their own day. Like, damn.
On your own podcast.
On my own podcast.
What a jerk. I'm a jerk.
Damn. No, but I get what you're saying. Like, it's just like, where would you be now if you understood some of the things I've understood. And unfortunately, like, I know for a fact, I know my own story. I know my own engagement. And I've done I will say this, I'm going to toot my own horn. I've done such a great job of engaging outside of my trauma dumping and outside of my trauma responses. During the pandemic, my ex-fiance from like that really just broke my little heart into like 7 different, like spread it to the winds. Like it was horrible. Of course I thought, of course, it made for a great song. Let me be clear. Like some of the pain, unfortunately, has made for some great songs and some great music that I've done.
That's the reason for it.
That I take it as that.
Yeah.
But like, damn, like in it, I was like, why is this man coming back? And and it was insane because I knew what their intention was from the get, and I knew what they wanted. But I got what I needed. They wanted something, I needed something. And like my need superseded their want. And it was interesting because I ended up getting just a lot of closure, but also not.
Yeah. Well, that's where the ego work comes in. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the stuff, like, you might want it. The fact that you even want it, that's like mostly ego anyway. It's like...
Yeah, I wanted to like be right.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like it was such an ego thing. I wanted to be right about the situation that happens, and then once it was validated, it didn't taste
but
the
think
same.
because think about it. You're literally wanting to be right about something, and you're wanting to be right about this situation with this one person, but that person, you want that one person to tell you that you were right. That's the person. And then what? But also, you already know, right? And that's the part. You already freaking know. But the fact that you're seeking, like, you can't get healing from the person that hurt you.
Oh, I was so pissed. It pissed me off so much. It pissed me off so much. And that's what really started, like, it was, what it was, is it was the final door to close. Like, me acknowledging that there was no way this person was going, like, they didn't understand that I grew the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up. I dealt with my shit. I was an adult. And, like, yeah, did it hurt? Yeah, did I love the version of them that I fell in love with? Yes. But, like, seeing them again, I realized that, like, damn, girl, you had shit taste. Like... And I could say that in all honesty. And please, no one find any pictures of them because I also looked way too hot for them. So, like, let me be clear. Like, there was levels. But at the end of the day...
But guess what? You'll never do that again.
No!
Because sometimes it takes that. That's what it takes. You got to do that stuff.
And so, like, I love how you're talking about community. And, like, I'm going to tell you this. As somebody... who finally, after I don't know how much time of us like messaging and like being internet friends, my first day with you, it felt like a balm. Like it was exactly like the shit I needed. And mind you, we didn't do a lot. We didn't talk about it. I know. I told you I'm an emotional Aquarius. This is just my life. But like,
that's so nice. Wow.
Like, I value you, and I value the part that you not just validated me, because it's not just like a give, but it's just like, shit you not. We're there, we're getting massages, and my anxiety is running. My anxiety is like at a 10. I don't even know where it came from. I think it was because the dude was pressing on shit.
Yeah.
But like...
he's messing with those hips.
Like he was like, pressure points. Let me make you... And it was like, but... Like being able to be safe with someone, getting in their car, like engaging in very personal conversations, like finding out about them, finding about each other. To me, there's something very intimate about that is just like, for me, I really appreciated it, but it's like, it was a balm. It's something that I think, I wish that women all the time would just go hang out with their girlfriends or hang out with other women that they know and that they meet, because there's just something, it's beyond friendship. It's like sisterhood. And like I said, it may be like too broad to say, obviously, because you don't know me super, super well, but it's just that time with you for me just felt so... That's
really nice. I mean, yeah, it felt really natural, and I think that's I mean, I had a great time hanging out. I felt like you
we've hung out all the time.
You walked in, it was like, God damn, this heat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just smoked a bowl. Like, you know, it's like casual.
Oh my God.
But it's like, I think, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. I think I really, like I said earlier, like I spend so much of my time just kind of being like, I have faith that the way I live my life has led me to people that are already at a certain level. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're coming to my house. Like, I don't just invite anyone to my house either.
I know. And I was like, oh my God, is she just going to give me the address to like the massage place or the coffee place? And you're like, oh, no, here's my house.
Just come to my house.
Yeah, just come by. And like, no, you're not getting it. You're not getting the damn address. That's for me. But it was just, there's a sense of trust and kindness, and it's just, it's a sense of, again, joy cultivating. Like, you do it not just in the music, not just in the events you put together and the things, it's in everything that you touch.
I try, yeah. I work on that. Thank you. I work on that. I make that that's my daily, every single day I wake up, and I actively work on trying to enrich or just be a better version of myself every day. I know that sounds like so super cheesy, but it's like from like walking. I was bummed. If you'd come earlier, we would have went down to the mural and talked to the artist that is painting the mural. He's like my homie, Joe Bravo. And so it's like, for me, connecting with people. I know that the pandemic totally freaked me out. Like, I legit thought, I was freaked out about the pandemic because I thought we were all going to separate, and I thought, like, as a people, I immediately worried about us as like a culture in like, you know, in the world, and just like, okay, we're going to be so separated from one another. What's that going to do to all of us? I am like a very social person. So I wasn't so much like concerned, like, oh my God, I'm not going to talk to anybody again. It wasn't like that. I knew I would talk to people, but I thought, like, there's people out in the world who aren't as social, who aren't going to go to great lengths like I go to like talk to people, you know, and they're going to instead just take the easy way out and just be like, forget it. And then we're gonna isolate ourselves, and that's like the scariest thing to me, you know.
It's scary, and as somebody who's like an introverted extrovert, where like I go out, I want to be social, but like, especially also as a performer, there's like levels to it. So I want to be social, I want to hang out with people, but then at the same time, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm done. Because I felt like almost obligated as the loud person, as the life of the. Mind you, I don't drink. Like, I'm the cheapest date. One drink alone is enough, truly.
Well, you have to be very careful about your energy. Like, with someone like me, like, I have a lot of energy. Like, what time is it? It's like midnight or something right now, right? It's like, this is what I'm like all the time. Like, it's still early. Like, I do the club.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. See, my night clock is like perfect. It's like good. But normally I'm up till like 4 or 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like my schedule. So it's like, that's why I sleep in late. Everyone makes fun of me. Now I really sleep in late because I'm nocturnal. But if you like, I'm very social in my community, right? So I know a lot of people. But when I go to events, if there's people that might know me from going to my DJ gigs or seeing me around or whatever, but they don't know me, like, I do have like in my head like a constant like, okay, I kind of like see everybody in the world. It's like a weird thing. I see everybody in the world like if it were a video game, like they have like everyone has like ranges of like, okay, their strength, their stamina, their heart, their whatever. I see where they're at. And everyone's different, right? Some people are more heart, less strength, or whatever. But it's like, but within those people, the ones that I talk to and I spend more time to, there's like spectrums that I go by, and it's like, okay, these are my focus people. These are my, these are the people that like I talk to stay rooted and to like I like go see my niece or my niece and nephew and my sister and my family like as often as I can. Especially if I'm really really busy, I'll be like, okay, I need to go in to go see them just so I could touch some like root family members. But then, yeah, when you see, but I also prepare if I'm going out and I'm going to be around people, a lot of people I don't know, but might know me or whatever. Or even people I just don't know, like being able to still be able to give the energy that I need to keep myself.
Yeah, because that was one of the biggest things for me is that, like, again, back to what I was saying, I'm very, like, I wanted to help people. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be everything for everyone whenever they needed me. And I realized that, like, a lot of people are takers.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of givers, or there's people that, like, take in such a way that it almost, like, sours you to the creation process.
Well, that's the part that's the worst. That's where you got to stop and check yourself. So, like, I was in this relationship that I was dating this guy for a bit or whatever, and it just got crazy at the end. Like, it was like a quick, which is like such a blessing that happened like that, and it didn't go through like a period of time. It was like a quick, radical, random stuff, right? And I was so shook. My friends were all shook. Like, they were shook for me. They were shook themselves too. Everyone felt like had a sense of betrayal. You know, it just got really freaking weird.
It got wild.
It just got real wild. And at one point, I mean, I was like questioning all these things, like, where did it go wrong? Like, what happened? This and that, and all these people were supporting me, and that was really awesome to have so many people like just come to my support. But then I was like, man, this, like, with all this, like, he was always so nice, and he was always so this, and he was always doing, but then, like, and I was like, how can I ever trust anyone again? And it's the act, like, when I said that, I was like, how can I ever trust anyone again? Like, this guy was super nice up until it was not nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it got wild. I was like, ugh.
I've had a few of those.
I was like, okay, nothing should affect me so radically to the point that I would shut myself. This person is not worth me shutting myself off from the potential of the love or whatever that I'm seeking. And that's the thing. Then you're like, okay, well, then I'm not seeking love. I have to love myself. And like that whole love yourself, it's not like some fake shit. It's really it. Like when you take care of yourself and you're about yourself, no one can touch you.
I know it's corny. Like some of these things.
It sounds corny because no one says it's a hard thing. No one ever says like, that's the work.
It sounds so nice and easy.
Just love yourself.
Just love yourself.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror and just say, you're a sexy bitch.
Yeah. You love yourself. Just do it.
Yeah.
And it's like the easiest thing. And it's like, no, bitch, that if someone would have told me that's the part that's the work. Yeah, I think once I had that thought, then I was like, oh, okay. That's what I have to work on. I have to work on the fact that, like, no one, I think the best of people. I think people are fine. I don't hang out with people who aren't awesome. So I don't, you know what I mean? If there's, like, people are always like, oh, tell the haters. Are there haters out there of mine? I couldn't even fucking tell you because I spend all my time focusing on people that like me. I don't spend time on, I don't know.
I understand. Like, it's almost like keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. No.
Just don't. Don't even do that. Don't even hang out with them.
Yeah. It creates a cycle of, like, just toxicity.
Well, or people also, when they say, like, oh, if my attitude is dependent on the attitude that you show me. Or it's like, I match your energy. I do not. If you suck, I will not match that. I will go away from you.
I'm a shithead. I'll match the shitheadedness by leaving.
I know.
Like, no,
by
that.
Just go, yeah,
I'm just like, oh, you want to start shit with me? Like, I don't think you understand. Like, if you take me to that place, you take me to the place of no return, you do not understand.
Yeah, like I said earlier. Like,
and no one has to go to that point. No one.
I'll love people from afar.
I think I've had to just say no to that too.
Yeah, sometimes, well, but it's like, it depends.
Because for me, and the type of, like, energy that I give out, and the type of person that I am, and just how I engage with people, I just have to be like, absolutely not. Please, like, I'll tell you a little bit, and like, I ask right at the start. This is what I do with friends or even acquaintances. I say, look, right at the start, do you want advice or do you want me to just listen?
That's the best question too.
Because I learned over time, it took a little while, but eventually, like right around college, I started realizing I needed.
See, that's so ahead of the time. That's so ahead of like what I did.
That's insane. I still feel slow.
No.
Because I would tell people, I'd say, look, I would tell them at the start, I just need you to listen. I don't need solutions because I know there's a solution, but I am Carrie Bradshaw.
I just want to rant it out.
Yeah, I want toxic engagement. Like I don't need solutions. I just need to get it out. Early in 2020, I was in an accident, and the consequences I was living with afterwards was a lot to handle all at once. So if you're like me and trying to recover while trying not to lose your car, lose work and therefore money, and super injured, and have a huge growing stack of hospital bills to pay, then you need a professional to get the care you need. In case of an accident, you need a lawyer to protect your rights and your wallet. And honestly, you don't have to look any further than that simple phrase by going to incaseofanaccident.com or encasodeaccidente.com for a free consultation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if the person who suffered the accident wasn't you, but maybe it was your tia, your abuelita, or your second cousin twice removed, don't worry. Everyone at incaseofanaccident.com or encasodeaccidente.com can speak Spanish, hablan español, and they can take text messages on WhatsApp at 888-990-0911. Don't forget to tell them that Veronique Medrano from Accordion to Me sent you. I started top of mind journaling. Like I would not think. I would just, if I was pissed, like super pissed off.
You would just write all this stuff down?
I would write it out. If I was super sad, if I was feeling it, I was feeling depressed, or I wanted to cry, or, I wasn't good. I would immediately pop the book out and just start going. And the more I started to do that, the more I started to do just just straight up top of dome, I started to realize that a lot of the immediate reactions I had to things came from just a place of reaction, and that I didn't need to act on it.
So you were just in survival mode?
I was in survival mode up until the pandemic, which is insane to say.
No, I believe it. I get
my body,
that.
my life, my spirit, my soul, my mind was fighting things that that weren't there. I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Dude, I was kind of in the same way. I was in a shitty marriage, honestly. Where I was just not fulfilled. I just felt like it was I felt like I was doing the most, and it just wasn't. I just didn't feel the support. And I know it's there's always the people that are like, oh, but I supported you, but I was there, but I was. It's
were you though?
Yeah.
When you really sit and assess what support actually is, were you though?
Yeah, it turns into where then I have to explain, and then I was doing so much. There's so much you go through, I think, and I was just yeah. For me, I had so I celebrate the whole month, and I'm always out there celebrating, but then my birthdays always kind of sucked because the people I was with. They wouldn't
match it?
It was I don't know.
That's
just
shit.
Some weird shit was always going down. You know what I mean? And so it was I think maybe it was just a timing. I don't know, but
my parents never let any significant other or anyone ruin my birthdays.
Dang.
Ever. They were Fort Knox with that. They were oh, we need
make
to
sure.
No, they would straight up escort people out. They were not having it. And so every year, my mom would make me a cake, or we would get we would go all out, me and her.
Yeah.
And me and my parents would just
have the huge fiesta.
Well, kind of, but it was small, huge fiesta.
Yeah.
Not everyone and their mom, but almost everyone that we cared about.
Yeah.
And so it ended up becoming you're bringing that up, but I just realized, seriously, that's why it came out of my mouth. My parents did not allow for that shit to happen. Ever. In my adulthood, they made a point, right around the time I turned 20, to start like the themed birthdays, to start like
For you?
for me,
Oh,
and
that's
like
so
really like
nice.
do something and hang out and really like center.
Yeah.
And for me, that like my parents made it to where they set such a high bar, and it wasn't until I stopped picking shitty people and realized like, hey, if they don't love me the way my own parents give me love and affection, they celebrate my birthday, they don't make me feel weird about birthdays. To all the men that like are like, I don't care.
Well,
None
dude,
of us care.
I had this one boyfriend who I was like, oh, I celebrate my birthday month or whatever. And he actively was like, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't celebrate. Just because you celebrate your birthday month, I don't need to be celebrating your birthday. I'm like, it's celebrating my birthday month isn't like I'm not making you take me to some cool ass dinner every night or some. I'm not like,
but I should
shower
acknowledge
me.
you being a shithead.
I mean, come on. I wasn't. That's not how I am. I was just like, dude, you can't just be like, hey, happy birthday month. Like, I don't know, every day of September. Does that sound too crazy?
No. I mean, then again, you're talking to me. I'm absolutely not the right litmus
But I'm
test for
saying,
this.
like
me
you
and
have
my
some
parents
upbeat
celebrate,
attitude.
like right now, like we're actively like preparing for Halloween right now.
Of course.
But like we are that family that loves Halloween and Christmas because they showed
they
me.
sound fun.
They showed me The Nightmare Before Christmas. That became my staple movie as a child and into my adulthood.
As a child.
As a child, I was I
Just
think
'cause I was
3
an
when
adult.
it came out.
Yeah. I was a full-blown adult when that came out.
That was an amazing movie though.
Oh, it's classic.
It's beautiful. I love the independence of Sally the Rag Doll. Because that was, here's the thing. Okay, pandemic time, figuring shit out. Realizing, light bulb moment, that I was the saboteur, along with my mom.
No, dude,
But-
that's the worst part. That's the part
no,
that's
but I
the
was
trippiest.
the saboteur for a good reason. I knew these men were dusty, busty, and no good. And internally, I wasn't letting it work, and neither was my mom. But I wasn't letting it work. And I didn't actually want to be with them long term.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to tell them that I didn't.
Well, it's that probably in a combo. It's a combo of that, and it's also a combo of like the ego of being like, but like, you know, I
can
do
make it
kind of
work,
like
right?
it, and like you're supposed to work things out because is it gonna get better out there? Well, yeah. Well, you have that freaking attitude. No, it's not gonna get better. Or you could be like, yeah, come on, I'm miserable now. I'd rather be miserable by myself. Like, why am I doing this?
And Sally the Ragdoll was the perfect example of that. Because she said, out of here, Dr. Finkelstein, took off her whole arm.
Yeah, she's like,
poisoned the man. I don't know how many times. Like, she poisoned him multiple
she
times.
really
in that
did
movie.
try to kill him a bunch of. She's actually kind of the villain of the story.
Is she, though?
Just kidding.
I mean, technically, like, her and Jack are just the right amount of
You know
toxic
what
for
I'm
each
saying?
other.
It's basically it's Nightmare. It's like Nightmare Before Christmas or what's that movie called? Natural Born Killers. It's like literally like it's basically it's like before they became natural born killers. Someone needs to make that mashup. That's what I think.
But it was just like I remember her because it was something like she said this one line. He goes, "You have to be patient. That's all." That's what Dr. Finkelstein tells her, and she goes, "I don't want to be patient." And that was this sentiment that I had from youth, that I just wanted to grow up so fast. I just wanted to grow up, and then by the time I became an adult, I realized that it was a sham, and that it was a whole crock, and that life. My youthful view of what adulthood was so different. Like I say, man, my mom was a superwoman. Like the shit I have to deal with now.
Well, it's so crazy that like for me the thing that I realized is we only know the life and like based on what we've seen and how we've like what our tias looked like, our grandparents and whatever and like our neighbors or whatever. We only know what we've seen, but we are what other people are seeing.
Okay.
So we could be who we want to be. And so we've only seen like a limited view of relationships and what they should be like. But things could be, you know what I mean? You could be in multiple relationships. I don't know, without it being like, you know what I mean? There's like what's like the norm, societal norm, I guess, or whatever. And I think it's like, I'm happy that in these days things are accepting. People are much more accepting of like different kinds of relationships or ideas lifestyles. Like the idea that you go to high school and then you go to college, you meet somebody and then you marry them and then you live and then you're settled down. I don't know what settled down. What does that even mean? Like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be settled down and like, oh, okay, I find someone and then I could just go home and chill and rest. Like, I like the life that I live. I have a very full life that I like. I like this. I like that I work on the weekends and I go to like the cool, I DJ amazing events and I put together amazing events.
They're coming for you.
I know.
They're coming to take you to your next event.
Me. The feds are on to me. I know, right? No, but like, I like that part of my life for now. Like, I like it now. And when I don't like it, or when this gets old or whatever, then I'll change it and I'll do something else. Like, I think I've had enough years and enough time now that I know that like, there's no like one thing that you do for your whole life, you know?
No, like your life is fluid. Life is ridiculously fluid.
It's constantly changing.
It is the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's big. It's humongous. Like, and you're teeny tiny in it. And you're almost like insignificant enough to be significant, you know?
Damn. you got me, man. You done got me. And speaking of just like the fluidity of life and the community and just the intersectionality of it all. You know, you recently came out on a ROKU TV show.
Oh, yes.
So,
oh my God.
Like, walk us through that, because did you know what was going to happen?
No.
Okay, so tell everybody the name of the show.
So, I was nominated to be on a show called Millón de Gracias. And
I thought it was a movie. I want you to know that when I saw the cover, and of course you see Michael Pena and like a few other people.
Yeah, the poster is really strange. Yeah,
it looks like a movie, and so like no judgment, Roku, because you gave her money, but like,
yeah,
but
so appreciative.
But I guess I kind of buried the lead. But like, like wait, give me a second. Like, I looked at the poster and thought you were in a movie. I was like, wow, she's an actress too? Like, damn, Gina. And like, but then you started posting clips and I was at home.
Did you watch it? Yeah, you saw it.
I saw it. Oh, I started crying.
Everyone says that.
Because you post the best clips. Like, you cannot deny that you posted the best clips and then you're crying again in the house. So go through it for us.
I was crying my eyes out the whole day. I did not. No, of course, I had no idea what was happening. How
did they trick you?
Which is the other thing that is crazy, because I work on some of these kind of shows, so
you got gotten.
Would have thought I would have picked up on something. I had no idea. I was so busy because I'm always so busy. Like I think I said, like I'm always kind of moving, you know, and
they got you, man.
And you know, like this guy calls me and he's like, hey, you were nominated by a friend. We're just like a local news kind of thing, which is the fucking line I use when I do this kind of shit. So I can't believe they're like, we're like a local news and we're doing like this like town heroes or local heroes segment. You're going to be one of a few people. If it's selected, you'd be one of a few people that people select.
You got tricked by your own tricks. I was like,
I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, when it all went down, I was like.
So that happens. They
call me. They're like, hey, do you want to come? You know, we're going to interview you real quick. I'm like, okay. And so I interview on the phone. Oh, I do a Zoom meeting with the producers and whatever, or do like a quick phone interview, which again, I do this kind of thing, but the interview was like kind of like brief, and I was like, then we do a Zoom, and that's a little bit longer, but, the whole time that, like, I'm talking to them about, like, they kind of are asking me about these different things that I did, because I raised money during the pandemic. A lot of times I do a lot of community events. There's all these different things that I, like, really am a part of, so they're like, oh yeah, someone nominated you, you're a contributor to the community. Well, all those things checked out. I am. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Someone wants to nominate me. And I'm not one to turn down, like, opportunities. Like, I know that they come all sorts of ways. So I was like, okay, cool. I just did this interview. All right, we're going to have, like, and then part of it is you nominate someone else. Like, you tell me who you nominate, and if you were to nominate someone, who do you think is awesome? I nominated my homie Junior, Gilly the Answer. And because I love him, and he's like one of my, like, gym mates, and then he's been with me through the pandemic, and so I was gonna nominate him, and then we interviewed on Zoom. Cool. Even in the interview, I was like, I'm sure there are more people that are more deserving than me, but I don't know if I'm very interesting, but there you go, you know. Next thing you know, they're like, all right, we're gonna shoot it. Can we shoot it at your house while you're on your equipment? And then we'll just shoot it there. It'll be like a small crew, and it's like no big deal and whatever. And I'm like, okay. And they came early in the morning, and it was like 7. They were like, we're gonna show up at your house at like 6 in the morning, and you have to be ready by 8. And I was like, I am going to be DJing the night before. I'm going to be coming home super late. So I'm just going to leave my door. I left them a key, you know, for them to come in. I'm like, just come in. Do not wake me up. I will get myself down there, you know. I go downstairs when I'm finally ready. They're like, all right, we're ready for you. I go downstairs to start the shooting, and that's when it's going to be revealed who surprised me, and, you know, it's a small thing. I go down into my living room, and there's just, like, lights everywhere. 2, like big cameras, you know, 2 or 3 cameras. One of my homies is the camera guy, and I know him, and I'm like, what is up? So he's like kind of a big deal too. Like, I think he's an incredible, I guess, I don't know, DP or
yeah. I was about to say DP.
I'm like DP.
I was about to say DP.
I know, but I'm just anyway. So So he's in there, and I'm like, what is going on? So I finally get surprised, and my coach, my boxing coach, he nominated me because, like, all the stuff I had done during the pandemic, but then for them personally, I guess, like, when they had to close up during the pandemic or whatever, I helped them pack up the gym. I helped them ship the stuff out over to Costa Rica. I, like, went to Costa Rica. I brought mail. I took care of, you know, like, different things. Like, you know, I just kind of handled their U.S. business while they were out, or, like, you know, whatever business they had in the U.S. while they were in Costa Rica. And so he had nominated me. But again, nobody knew, and so I nominated Junior. So when he came to my house, I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? Like, I can't believe it's you or whatever. And so he's, like, talking to me. He's telling me, like, how he appreciates me and all this stuff that I do. And if you guys knew Alex, like, he doesn't really talk like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's, like, very rare for him to say. So him just even saying that was so moving, you know? I just was like, man, I'm just kind of, again, going to the point of, like, just being yourself and just, like, just doing what you do and focusing on yourself. You attract the people that just in being yourself, that's enough. Like, yeah. That's all. That's it. Like, all I can do is this. Like, I don't know what else to do, you know?
And I think that kind of goes back around to what I was saying earlier. I think maybe that's actually a better contextualization of what I was trying to say, is that I could be myself with you and not have to, like, put on airs of anything.
Yeah,
because it was
I appreciate that.
Because, again, I think all of us get nervous. All of us, like, oh, we just want to present the best version of ourselves. We just want to be liked. We just want people to give us kindness.
Yeah.
And sometimes we put on a front because of years of bullying, because you were too much. And that has been me. I was the too loud one. I was the too nerdy one. I have been all of those things. And so to be able to, like, hang out with you and have that just engagement just immediately, where it's just like, hey, I don't have to be anything but myself, and we're just chill.
Yeah.
And so, wow, that's just to have that, and then just to have that happen to you. So your friend doesn't know that you're giving them something?
So my coach gets me, and he's like, hey, let me show you something, whatever, goes through the thing. I don't want to tell the whole show, but they revealed, all of a sudden, there was like $50,000 in cash. And I was like, what in the hell is this? And also, at this time, like I said, I had just gone through divorce. I was living on my own after 8 years. You know, I'd broken up with my boyfriend. And so it was kind of like, okay, I gotta kick it into gear, you know. I'm by myself, you know. And so I saw the money. I was just like, holy crap, what is this? Like, is this a real thing? I couldn't even understand. And back to like the Spanish English thing too. The whole thing was in Spanish, and my Spanish is fine, but like, imagine you're surprised on a show, there's all these cameras, you got like this money, your friend's telling you all this really nice stuff, and now you're supposed to respond in Spanish. Well, I felt like I was like bursting because I had like so much I wanted to say. And so then they revealed that I have to give half of that money to the person I nominated.
But we won't give too much away, but it was a very special moment.
Oh my God.
And it's just all of that. Again, just say the name of the show one more time.
Un Millón de Gracias. It's the Jennifer Lopez, I guess. She produced the series, and the first one was, the first season was Thanks a Million or something, and then the second season is in Spanish, Un Millón de Gracias. So she's having like English and Spanish.
And it's on the Roku channel. And as much as we want to continue to give you more deets, I think it's like, I watched it online. I watched it on Roku. I definitely think, just go watch it. It's worth the watch. It will make you,
Pretty cool.
If your tank of like feel good has not been filled with like cat and puppy videos, then this will just this will send you, because it's just the kindness of other people, the kindness of a community. Cuando necesitabas?
Oh yeah.
When you needed.
No, it was like, it was the coolest thing. And you know what, like I told my friend, I only told like a couple of people, because that, you know, like some of my really good friends, like what was going on, like the people that were around me, and they're also creators, and they're all doing stuff, and it's like their excitement and like what we've been able even to do with that, like me having that money. It wasn't like it just went to just paying rent or bills. Like, of course some of that goes to that, but I use that money actually more to like invest in myself and on my brand, and like I have like a, you know, some mailing list stuff and all these different things that I've kind of been being able to. You have a
whole ass air freshener.
I have air freshener. Yeah,
I'm not saying that's where the money went. I'm just pointing it out because I saw it.
I bought $25,000 worth of air fresheners in vanilla. If anybody wants them.
I would.
Vanilla and cherry royale.
Okay, I'll take the cherry royale.
I actually might get a cherry royale. That's not a bad idea to get that one. I have to remake some of them, so I think I'm going to do that, yeah.
But I just love this. Just, you invested in yourself. You continue to invest in yourself. We were talking about it in the car, how much, like, just filling your own tank allowed you.
Oh, my gosh. But you know what? Also, like, being around people who are also just as busy and kicking ass. Like, I'm not by myself. Like, my friends over at Mi Vida in Highland Park, Noel and Dom, like they're a husband and wife team. He's an artist, and he does like all the art that they put on the shirts or whatever. She's like got the vision and all these, and they collaborate together. They do all these like street like fairs and all that kind of stuff. I DJ those events. Like, you know, we all just kind of work together. My homegirl Angela with Hello Stranger. Like, I work at Hello Stranger too. Like, I'm like, I happen to be around like people who are like movers and shakers. So when you're around people who are constantly like creating and wanting, because we have to, like, because it's like, just, it's part of our like nature, what we need to do.
Part of our DNA.
Yeah, like that's what you have to do. It's like, if you're a shark, like sharks have to swim or else they'll drown. That's like the truth. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, they have to keep moving.
I mean,
that's why you can't have a shark in a small tank, because they have to be able to like move. That's how they get like air in their lungs or whatever it is, however the sharks breathe. But yeah, they have to keep moving. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm a shark. I'm a shark, and I'm also the 110 freeway.
So what kind of shark would you be if you were any kind of shark?
I think a hammerhead shark because I think it sounds cool.
I'm a whale shark.
Which one's a whale shark?
It's the one with the big old mouth that goes, wow.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. You know that one.
It is the cutest looking shark. I also think I like that shark because it looks very akin to my favorite aquatic animal. You're just thinking of the whale.
Just because I just saw you, the way your mouth went, I was like, I immediately could see the shark. That's the part that was crazy.
I love stingrays. My favorite aquatic animal is a stingray.
I'm a big fan of jellyfish.
Oh yeah.
I like jellyfish.
Something about how they move.
It's so nice.
Like jellyfish move like dancers.
Yeah.
And stingrays move like birds. That's why I like them. They move like birds.
They glide.
They move like birds in the ocean, and sometimes they can even fly out of the ocean and hit you in the face. But like,
is that a thing? Is there a YouTube video about that?
Yes, there's multiple. There's multiple. I think my favorite is this meme of a chick, and she's like this, and she's like, ah! And then the stingray's like its little mouth, because it looks constantly happy.
Yeah, it's like a little like mouth. Yeah,
just
it's like two little eyes and a little yeah.
It's just so happy. It's just such a happy swimming aquatic bird.
Yeah,
it makes me so.
They are pretty funny looking.
They are funny.
Dude, there's not like little baby ones or miniature ones that could go into like a tank, right? Like a fish tank, right? They're usually really big, huh? They have to be in like a aquarium.
I mean, they make tanks for you to pet them.
I know, but I'm just wondering, they don't make there's no baby
miniature.
Yeah, is there like a mini? It's like, do they breed miniature stingrays like they do like miniature pinchers or whatever? Or
I don't know why
bulldogs?
that whole thought.
There's no mini stingray breeding.
You know what?
Situation?
I hope someone sends me something telling me about it. But I don't think so, just because of how they are as creatures. Like, there's different sizes. I will say that. There's different sizes. There's like manta rays. There's different size stingrays. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was like a small stingray that looked like a pancake. Like, oh my God, the size of a McDonald's pancake.
I think, it should be like this size, like where
now
they just
I
kind
want
of like
a McDonald's breakfast.
I think it would need to be like this size to go into a regular, because they want to swim around. Yeah.
You have been listening to the Accordion to Me podcast, which is made possible by listeners like you rating and reviewing the podcast. Every time you leave us a review, one of your haters loses their wings and their wallet and maybe their keys. So if you love the podcast, leave us some stars and a quick blurb. And if you hate the podcast, send it to your enemies. Either way, everybody wins. Bye. What is something uniquely California that I think is really hard to contextualize to anyone?
I think the thing about California that's like, I think people just don't understand is that it's huge and every area is totally different. Even in just LA, like Little Tokyo is different than Pasadena, or Pasadena's not technically, I guess it is, but Little Tokyo is different than like Hollywood is different than downtown is different. Like, and downtown's not just downtown. There's like the arts district. There's so many different areas in just Los Angeles, and there's a lot of big differences in all these little areas, you know. But even from like Ventura County, LA County, San Bernardino, Orange County, all those counties, they're also different. And I think what happens a lot of times in LA is that people come from other parts, out of towners, and they aren't solid with who they come to. I think a lot of people might, and I worked as a casting director for a very long time, so that was my first job, my real gig before I was like did all this other stuff. But it's my experience that people come into LA and they come hoping that LA, or that they'll be able to have like the freedom that they maybe didn't have in their towns, and they probably do. They have more, but they have too much freedom. There's so much freedom, so you can do whatever you want, but that still doesn't mean that you'll be around the people that are going to fill your soul. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to, fulfill your life, I guess, or, make you feel fulfilled. So I think people come to LA and they act like they think LA, it's their perception of Los Angeles on how they think people in LA are like. And so they are like a copy, a copy of a copy of a copy.
Playing telephone.
Yeah. And it's like, and then they lose themselves in the whole thing, and then they don't know what's going on, and then they get eaten alive. And those people, there's people that come by that think like, oh, I'm going to come, I'm just going to take LA by storm, and I'm going to tear it up. And it's like, no, you're not. Nobody is. LA is its own thing, baby. Like
it's its own living organism.
Yeah.
Like it's its own living microcosm. And like you said, there's so many different parts. And mind you, I haven't explored all of it. I've had the pleasure of like going to your side of town and just, I'm actually probably going to be exploring it a little bit more this time. I really wanted to go to Joshua Tree, and there was like just so many things I haven't gotten.
Joshua Tree's awesome.
There's so many different things I haven't really gotten to experience. But I will say this about being here is that there is, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just this stage of my life, but I will say there is just this type of feeling that I get that just really, there's not really competition here. If there's competition here, it's in your own damn head.
Yeah.
Which comes from being a big fish in a small pond. And I just love the fact that here I'm just a regular sized fish around a bunch of other regular sized fish. And that we are all swimming.
Yeah.
We're all swimming. We're all
I think you get to a point where, I mean, sure, some might argue that there's a ton of competition here, right? But I think what you're trying to say
is the mentality.
Yeah, I think, in which I agree. I think like you compete when you don't realize that there's enough for everyone. You collaborate when you realize there's too much for all of us, for one person. Do you know what I'm saying? There's too much for one person. So like you're competing when you think it's limited, but you collaborate when you know there's a lot.
Damn, girl, you dropping keys out here. You don't got a house?
I know. Another one. No, I mean, I'm telling you, that's what I feel. That's the key.
That's what I think has been really changing how I perceive my artistic efforts, the things that I want to do. And also, again, it goes back to what you said. Like, I am cultivating an environment around myself that only is meant to cultivate.
Well, and also, like, the way I look at things now, I think, again, with age, this is something that, and with, like, the last few years, like, my experience, it's like, I know that when I was growing up, I didn't see people like me. I know I didn't see anyone like me walking around, not in my family. I didn't see anybody that, I didn't see anybody like me, you know? So, you know, I have a niece and I have a nephew and I DJ and I'm out with people. And so I think I'm a good person. I think I would have loved to have seen someone like me growing up, because then, you know, who knows where I would be, you know? Foiled again. But like it would have, I know that I've done a lot of like inner child healing in the process of being a DJ and being more outgoing, like being more out with people and meeting people and just entertaining, I guess, being part of like the event scene or whatever. But I think like it does not escape me that like I am where I am because I'm inspired by the people that I see that are around me that I've never seen before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they do that like by doing this, like, you know what I mean? And then I do it, and then I inspire others, like, and the fact that I can inspire others is really awesome. Like I like when you said like just the fact that you feel open and like around me, like that's really great. Like that's all I could ever want, you know? Like that is all I need so that I could go to sleep. I sleep well every night, you know, because I know that I do my best.
I don't, but that's just because I have shitty pillows.
Oh, I sleep perfect. I'm like out on this bed. No, I sleep really well. No, I think it's like like you said, you have to kind of just do things for yourself and be like the best version of yourself, because you do impact other people. One time when I was kind of seeing this one guy, he was just kind of a grouch. He was always so negative. And I did say this to him. It kind of sounds shitty to say it, but it was one of those things where it was true. But I was like, it was like the breakup. I was like, I can't even understand. Like, my brand wouldn't allow me to be with someone like you. Because he was just so negative all the time. He was so
but
mean.
It's the fact that you said my brand could not
And
associate with you.
That was like my way of like separating again, like me from like, okay, egotistical Isabel might be like, oh, I can work this out or whatever, you know what I mean? But then like the pragmatic side of me is like, look, do you want to be dealing with this guy's shitty attitude? Like, you have a good attitude. This guy's just bringing you down. You should just say no and walk away. And that's like, that's like locked in for me. Like, you know, someone presents some idea that's like just does not align with my values, then it's just a no.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
At this point, I better.
Yeah. We can only
I'm
hope.
a grown-ass woman, I hope.
Like, it's funny in the sense of just the thought process that just came to mind for me, that, you know, you were talking about healing your inner child and healing that. I'm healing the young adult. I was healing the young adult, still working on it. Because I think my inner child, we've gone through some shit, but we were good. We were nerdy. Most of the healing was just being like, hey, I'm cool.
Accepting yourself.
Accepting myself. But the young adult part of me was the part that was just in so much pain, that didn't understand that sometimes, like you said, certain people can be shitty, but it doesn't make the whole of it shitty. But it's also hard to differentiate when you're in it. It's hard to differentiate the shit around you if you just can't get out. You're just stuck.
Well, I mean, I think that's why I think having a supportive community and family is so important to me, you know, like having like my immediate family, I am close to them, but I know a lot of my creative growth and professional growth and just, you know, it comes from having a strong community around me. You know, like I said, my friends are very like, they're deliberately picked. Like, I have friends that are like, my relationships, my hangouts with everyone, they're deliberate. We don't just like sit around do nothing. I wish we could just sit around and do nothing. That would be cool sometimes, but it's like a special occasion if we were to get to do that. But for the most part, like, I do feel very supported by my friends and family. Like I said, like with men, I can't say, I can honestly, I thought about this the other day, and no like hate on any of the dudes, but like, I can't say that any of the dudes I married or was with or any of that, I don't think I never really ever felt like they were like ride or die with me. Like they were going to be there for me and really support me through it all. I can tell you that they weren't a lot of times. So
yeah, same.
The fact that I tolerated that is what I'm working on. So no shade on them. They only were supporting me as much as I would allow. And again,
they were only supporting me as much as they could.
Or that,
which sometimes wasn't at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to say that. Like, I'm okay with saying, like, their support of me sometimes really, truly wasn't enough.
Well, it's like, there's like people, it's like, do you want the people that are going to be there to tend the soil, or just the ones that are going to eat the fruit? You know? And so I kick it with people who tend the soil. That's like now, that's, you know, I don't have very many relationships right now that I'm in, friendships or that are like just taking fruit. You know what I mean? A lot of them that are around me, they've been working on tending my soil.
When you know, you know.
And you can't spend any time anymore. I don't spend any time anymore in that.
No. I don't either.
If I didn't have so many amazing friends doing cool things that are so awesome, like, I think that's what keeps me from getting into trouble, because I'm kept so busy doing cool shit.
And so you do event directing, and I did see that you did Willie's 90th.
Well, for the Willie's 90th,
Okay, I'm curious what that was.
I worked. I produced a second camera unit.
Okay.
So we basically did like backstage footage. Like we just shot like all the different artists that came through because like he had so many artists that came through.
He had so many.
It was awesome.
It was like it was a smorgasbord of who's who in like current and like stable.
Oh yeah.
Staple country artists. Like everyone who was anybody was there, and if you weren't anybody who was everybody, you just got to watch from the Hollywood Bowl. But still, it was crazy.
It was really awesome, and like there's just so many. I'm not like that. I don't be knowing so much about the country scene like that, but you could tell that these guys were like superstars. Like the people, like Lyle Lovett was like a dream. What a nice guy. Like he was so good. Leon Bridges is a superstar. Like that energy is like thick, you know?
Wow.
Superstar. So talented.
And so like you do casting, you've done cast directing, and so like, or you're a casting director.
I'm a casting director.
And so sorry, I was like, that was such a weird way to say it, but what goes into that kind of work?
Casting?
Yeah.
So I love casting, and it's something. It's easier. It's easy for me to do. It's something that's easy for me to do because I am very social and I could talk to people pretty easily. But what I look for in a lot of the projects that I cast is I look for people who are just like who they are at their genuine, like in their raw form. You know, a lot of times I feel like I'm always casting. I'm always working. I'm always like I said. Remember I said earlier how I can see people's like bars on the top of their strength.
Yeah.
And
there's little video game stats.
I see all that like in people. So I don't always. So, but I get booked. So people will hire me to cast for specific projects, and then based on whatever the parameters are, then I can find people like that. But I think I have a good sense of like talent. I'm confident in my taste, I guess, for finding good talent. And I also have had really awesome opportunities with amazing executive producers and directors that I have been able to work with. That so like again that collaborative, when we could like collaborate together and kind of think of ideas and talk to people. There's just a lot of what I do. I think is comes from like my gut, probably. I guess like where I just have a good sense of
building community, building something that will like, especially for that. It's something for the screen. So you know what is going to work well.
I know what I want to watch, and I know what feels good to me, and I know what is like the vibe I want to put out. Like when I do my events, like I know the vibe I want. Like I know that when I work in hospitality with like on events like when I have talent and stuff, like they have to feel. I think it's imperative that they feel 1,000%. Like they feel great and they feel like happy and they feel motivated, because then I'm gonna get the best from them. You know what I mean? So with casting, television, film, and videos and all that kind of stuff, that they're all kind of different. But I genuinely, the one thing that's like I always look for is like consistency. If they're consistently doing good work, or if there's like a growth. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times that people think like they've been doing it for a long time, so therefore they're great. And none of that is true. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Really? If your attitude sucks, you're not going to get shit. You know what I mean? So, I just think like, yeah, like casting, like all the projects are a little bit different, but, I love meeting people, so I take on a lot of the projects that I pick up. I take them if I think I'm going to be meeting and being around people that are really cool. Like I had to do, like I cast for LA Inc. for instance. I don't know if you remember that show with Kat Von D.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was a reality TV trash baby. I loved that shit.
Okay.
I loved like Mari. I love.
Oh my God, Maury. Well,
No,
of
like I'm
course.
saying, like if we're
Yeah.
going straight from the get, like Mari, LA Inc. Oh my God, Flavor Flav, Flavor of Love,
Flavor of Love.
Flavor of Love. Like just I was the reality TV person.
Yeah.
Like the casting for stuff like that was absolutely wild and bonkers. But like you cast people with the idea that you're trying to cast what will be good television. Will this person give good television?
So okay, casting for like LA Inc., for instance, is going to be way different than when I cast for the fucking Bachelor. Like when I cast for the Bachelor, oh my God, that was. Oh my God, that was a good one.
Oh my God! Okay. Well, let's rewind. Oh my God, there's so much to unpack. Okay, rewind. LA Inc. So what was the parameters? What were you looking for when casting that?
So when I cast something like LA Inc., like I want the story, like there has to be like a cool story, like the people that are telling the stories. And a lot of times people thought like, oh, my baby died, my dad died, my brother died, whatever. Can you just take
Everyone died.
Everyone dies, and it's like that. Them dying can't be the story because
that's gonna be sad every episode.
And like you don't want it to be sad. You want it to have like a touch of like just life, reality. Life is kind of sad. You know what I mean? But you can't like really be tasting the sweet without the bitter. You know what I mean? Without knowing what the bitter tastes like, right? So there has to be some like, you know, going through it. But with like LA Inc., you'd want to get a good story with the person. The protagonist has to be like, I don't know, just like compelling to some degree, you know, that can tell a story, and it's someone that is going to have a good reaction to their tattoo when it's done. Someone that's going to could talk. Like if you can have a good conversation with the artist also just trying to do their work too. They're not trying to be like also just talking about. You have to think about like, so I think about things like with a tattoo, for instance. The artist is crouched over you. He or she, they are doing the work, right? And they're like using a machine that's going to be like putting these needles in your skin and drawing blood, and these little particles go up in the air, and you're exchanging like energy as you're doing that. So if you're telling a sad ass story and the artist is then pounding this like these needles in your arm as you're telling, it's almost like I feel like there's like a magic there that's not cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're just embedding this trauma into your body. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But if there's like an uplifting part to the story or whatever, then it's like I don't know. I feel like the energy goes into the work, and then they have a good tattoo, and then they were always really happy for the most part. I guess, you know, I never heard anyone complain. But
and so then casting for the Bachelor.
That was wild because that it actually made me really sad to casting for the Bachelor, because again, I was around. Honestly, I was interviewing a bunch of women, and they were all just so desperate to be with a man at like the age of like 25. And they're like, I remember like how common it was like, oh yeah, I would just, if I was single by 30, like, oh, I would just hang myself. And it's just like, oh my gosh, guys, like you're setting yourself for failure. Like if that's the case, like you're going to be really disappointed in life. Like, if you think you're going to find someone that's like dope at 25 and you know, I guess, cool. I hope you do.
What was the most memorable casting that you did for The Bachelor?
The most memorable, like the person?
Yeah, that like eventually was just good TV.
Well, I happened to cast the season of The Bachelor where The Bachelor didn't pick anybody, which was not good TV. He ended up choosing between two girls and then was like, I don't want to do this. And then at the end didn't. It was season 11. So that was actually considered not good TV. I actually think it's pretty cool. because no one else did that.
You inadvertently, because it's not just you, I'm assuming. It's you and,
it's
and
a
a
whole
few
team.
other people.
And
So
it goes
all
through
of
a
y'all-
whole process. So it's not like I'm responsible, you know? Like, and also, this bozo all of a sudden doesn't want to be a part of it. Like, bro.
I remember that. That
you've
was
been
insane.
here.
That was too much.
It was not my favorite. It was not, like... It was not my favorite. There was a lot of other stuff in there that I was just like, oh my gosh. And also, if I could be totally honest, like just casting a full cast of mostly white women, like I could not handle it. Like the Latino, if there was going to be a Latino or a person of color, a black woman or anyone on there, they needed to be like fucking exemplary. Like they needed to be like Yale graduates.
What the
like,
hell?
They needed to be like or it's like, so imagine being a black woman with like all these credentials and all this like awesome stuff, and then you're up there with like Stacy, who is like a bartender at SD, at the San Diego, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like some party club area, and she's just like here to have a good time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine. Like, so it was kind of like I didn't feel like that was like very aligned like with what my vibe is. Like that was like that took from me. Yeah, that was not aligned with my brand at all. And I think at the time I didn't even know to articulate that was an issue, or I didn't know how I felt about it, but I remember it was such a bore. I remember just kind of being like, wow, this is some real lame shit.
And I think from when you cast to now, it's changed drastically.
Well, I also was casting on a season of The Bachelor when I was explicitly told that, like, you could, like, we would never have a black bachelor, and we would never have we would only really need to put like people of color in there just because just to have them, but they're gonna be voted off anyway, so who cares? Oh yeah, this was like blatant, like open, like they would just say that to us like normal. It was like a normal thing because people in Wisconsin don't want to see a black bachelor. That's what they would say, and I'd be like, who the fuck cares?
That is insane in the membrane.
Yeah.
That's insane in the brain.
It's so rude. It was so terrible.
But it goes back to like just dating shows in general just seem to be of that vein, of that cut of the cloth.
Yeah, but it also goes with like a lot of like the Hollywood and TV stuff, like, right? Like it's like a lot of that. That's a whole thing. That's why representation matters. That's why, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, oh, why does everyone care about the Cheetos movie? Why does everybody care about, like, Blue Beetle? It's because, you know why? Because we don't normally see that. We don't like...
Let me have my cake
like,
and
how
eat
about
it too.
shut the fuck up? Let me do what I want.
Let me do what I want.
Can you have all these other shows, all these other networks? Can we have a fucking movie and a TV show and you not shut the fuck... Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so... I ask this to every single one of my guests as we wrap up the podcast is, what is life according to you?
What is life according to me? Oh my God, what is life according to me? You asked this? I feel like I've listened to these and I don't remember this part. You asked these people this?
Yes!
Damn. How did I forget this one? See,
Damn.
I would have prepared for this. Maybe I don't listen all the way to the end. Did I just give myself away? Shit.
I have tricked you.
Again, I'm foiled again. I had all this time. You know what? Again, like I said earlier, like I think that we are so like small in the world. Like no one cares about us really. At the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. Like when you think like someone's thinking about you or someone's talking shit about you or it doesn't even matter what they say, good, bad, or otherwise. As long as like you believe in what you're doing, like that's life. Like to me, it's like I'm living like the best version of my life right now, like that I've ever probably lived. And it's legit because I have super hyper focused on just making sure I am 100%. And when I'm at 100%, I could affect and inspire more people.
Well, thank you guys for another wonderful episode of watching Accordion to Me. And as always, puro amor, puro besos, puro tejano. Mwah. Bye.
And puro mezcal.
Oh, puro mezcal. Where's the mezcal? Where are we? Where is it? Thank you for listening to Accordion to Me. The team behind this week's episode includes mixing and editing by Juan Pablo Diaz, theme music by Rodrigo Montalvo, produced by Javi G from MD Media. in-person recordings were done at the Spotify studios and remotely through Riverside FM. Accordion to Me is distributed through Anchor, and you can stream Accordion to Me wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'm your host and executive producer, Veronique Medrano. Puro amor, puro besos, puro Tex-Mex. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror and just say, you're a sexy bitch.
Yeah.
Ah.
You love yourself.
Oh
Just
my God.
do it.
Yeah.
And it's like the easiest thing. And it's like, no, bitch, that if someone would have told me that's the part that's the work, you just got to work on loving, not just
Barney
like,
said, I love you, you love me.
Yeah.
But he was meaning himself.
Yeah. He's talking in the mirror.
He was talking to the Barney in the mirror.
Yeah. That's what he was talking about.